everyone, my name is Ellen and today I'm going to be showing you guys how to play Cowgirls by Wallen featuring Ernest on my Martin 15M guitar. So I'll link more information about this guitar down below if you're interested. Here's a quick overview of everything I'll be covering in this tutorial today. And with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Alright guys, so you're only going to need to know 5 different chord shapes to play through this song, and we're going to start with our E minor 7, which looks like this and sounds like this. By the way, if you don't know how to read these chord charts you're seeing on screen, I do cover how to do that in my free beginner course right here on YouTube, so make sure to check that out. The next chord shape is our C major. Then we have our G major. We also have our D major. And then last we have our regular open E minor. And those are the only 5 chords you need to know to play through this song. Alright guys, so go ahead and pause the video and take as much time as you need to really memorize these chord shapes, as well as practice transitioning back and forth between them, because it'll make learning the rest of the song so much easier. And you might be wondering why we have 2 different versions of E minor in there. We have E minor and E minor 7. You can definitely just stick to one or the other, whichever you prefer, but the reason I have E minor 7 in there is because it's going to sound a lot better when we do our picking pattern towards the end of the video, so just keep that in mind. But anyways, if transitioning your chord shapes fast enough is something that you're currently struggling with, I would recommend checking out my Practice With Me series right here on YouTube, where we go through this skill in real time together. But once you have those under your belt, then we can go ahead and talk about the strumming that I would recommend for this song. Alright guys, so as I always say, if you are brand new to playing guitar, or you're somebody who struggles with playing guitar while singing at the same time, the first thing I would suggest doing is to bring up the song and go ahead and play through the entire thing with a single down strum on every chord change as you sing through the song. And you just want to take this time to really get used to what word you're singing, what syllable you're on whenever those chords are changing. So here's a quick example of what that would look like with the chorus. Long live cowgirls, never gonna settle on down girls, leave you in a lonely ghost town, world where the sun don't rise, rodeo for one night. Alright? So that's just a quick example, but you would essentially want to do that for the entire song and just really make sure you know where those chords are going to be transitioning. And this is actually something you do right now if you check out my Patreon page. I do have this entire guide available to download and print out, so I'll make sure to leave that link in the description box for you guys. But once you can do this single down strum pattern, then we can go ahead and add to it to make more of a full strumming pattern that you can use for this song. Alright guys, so for the strumming pattern I would recommend for this song, it is going to be a little bit more complicated. We are going to be counting in a 16th note pattern, so if you don't know what that is or how to count that, I would definitely recommend checking it out in my beginner series because I do cover that there. But basically it's going to sound like this. We have 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a down, down, up, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, 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 up. Alright, so the strumming rhythm can be a little more complicated if you are more on the beginner side, so definitely just take as much time as you need to get that rhythm under your belt. But before we move on, I wanted to go ahead and add a vertical line here, kind of in the middle, and basically what this is going to represent is where we want to change chords. So essentially this strumming pattern is going to be played one time through per chord pairing. Alright, so we're playing 2 different chords within this one measure. So if we take a look at how the song goes, almost the whole song goes from E minor to C to G to D. So let's go ahead and just break down what that would look like with this pattern. Starting on our E minor chord, you're going to do the left half of this pattern, so the first 2 down strums, 1E and a 2E and a. Then you're going to switch to your next chord, which is our C major, and finish out the right half of this pattern. Up, up, down, 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 up. Alright, so it's split right there in the middle. E minor, C. Then we do the same thing with the next 2 chords. We're on our G chord for the left half, down, down, switch to your D and finish it out. Up, up, down, 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 up. Alright? So again, you can apply this pattern for the entire song, but just remember that we're changing chords in the middle of the pattern. So all together without stopping, it would sound like this. We've got E minor, C, to G, D. Down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, down, down. going a little bit slow for this pattern. So once you get kind of the motion of the up and downs and everything, and you've kind of internalized that rhythm a little more, then what you want to do is work on speeding it up. So closer to full tempo, it would sound more like this. We have 1, 2, ready, go. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a minor, C, G, D. You got it. Long live cowgirls, never gonna settle on down girls. Leave you in a lonely ghost town world where the sun don't rise. Rodeo for one night, love you like a Mustang. One hand on them giddy up wings, hole in your heart with some good aim on a goodbye ride. But it's fine 'cause it's kind of my thing. Long live cowgirls. All right. So that was an example of the chorus, and this is where I would recommend using this strumming pattern throughout the song. But if you did want to strum through the whole song, we can go ahead and look at how a verse would sound as well. So let's go ahead and look at verse 1. Got E minor, down C, to G, D. She set the field on fire, just cutting across a pasture. She'll have you falling for it all and leave right after. She got a cold heart, she got a warm soul, cut from the same cloth. She got a bug wild little bit angel, a whole lot of outlaw. She's trouble, and I'll tell you right now, y'all. Long live cowgirls. All right, and then you would go into the chorus. So basically, this strumming pattern I think sounds really great with the entire song. It might be a little bit hard at first to get the rhythm down, but once you have that down and internalized, you can apply it for the whole thing, and it sounds really great. However, there is one thing that I like to add into my verses, which is the picking pattern that you can hear throughout the song. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about how you would do picking. All right, guys, so again, go ahead and pause the video and take as much time as you need to really memorize this strumming rhythm and get it under your belt. It can take a while to get that muscle memory down where you can play it without thinking about the counting. So definitely pause on this video and take as long as you need to master that. But once you have that, we can go ahead and talk about a picking pattern that you can use for this song as well. All right, guys, so I'm going to show you this picking pattern in the way that I think is easiest to explain. So the first thing I need to tell you is how I number my strings. So I always number my strings in these tutorials from 6, which is our low E string, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, all the way down to our high E string, which is 1. So just keep that in mind as I show you how to do this picking pattern. As I said earlier in the chords part, we are going to be using our E minor 7 in the picking version instead of our regular E minor, and you'll see why that sounds a lot closer to the original song in a second here. So basically, before we begin, let's go ahead and talk about our right hand, our picking hand, okay? Your thumb is going to either be on this low E, the 6th, the 5th, or the 4th string, okay? And then your pointer, middle, and ring finger, they're going to live down here at the bottom 3 strings respectively. So pointer on G, middle finger on B, and your ring finger on that E string here, okay? So the only thing that should be moving throughout this picking pattern is your thumb. So now let's go ahead and look at how we can do this. We're going to put our E minor 7 chord down on our left hand. And what you want to do is take your thumb and pick the bottom or bass string, which is our E string. Okay? Then you're going to take your pointer finger, pick that 3rd string. Then you're going to take your middle and ring finger and pick the bottom 2 strings at the same time. That's why they're in parentheses, okay? So we have 6, 3, 2, and 1. And then instead of letting it ring, we're just going to take our hand and kind of slap the strings to kind of mute them. So we have, all right? And the rhythm for that is 1 E and a 2 E and a. So this is again the first half of a measure. 1 E and a 2 E and a. Then we go to our C chord. Your thumb is now going to move to the 5th string because we're always going to cover the lowest string in each chord. And for C, that is our 5th A string. But the pattern's the same. We're going to go 5, 3, 2, and 1 at the same time, and then mute. And again, the rhythm for that is 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay, so the slaps come on 2 and 4. So together with those measures on E minor 7, we have 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Okay, just like with strumming, we're splitting the measure between E minor 7 and C. Now when we go to our G chord, this is going to be a little bit different here. Again, your thumb's moving to the bottom E string because that's the lowest in our G chord. we're gonna go 6, 3, 2 and 1 together, so just like earlier, but this time after we mute the strings, you're gonna come back and pick the bottom 2 again, and then add another mute. So for G, we have 6, 3, 2, 1, mute, 2, 1, mute. All right, so it's a little bit different. We're adding something at the end there. So we've got, the rhythm for that one is 1 E and a, 2 E and a. Okay, so this time the mute comes on the 2 and the and. 1 E and a, 2 E and a. All right, and then to finish it out, we go to our last chord, our D. And for this one, super simple. All you want to do is move your thumb to the 4th D string. And instead of picking any strings individually, we're just going to pick all 4 of these in the D chord at the same time. Okay, so you're picking thumb, pointer, middle, ring, all at the same time. And then again, just mute your strings. And the rhythm for this part is just picking on 3, muting on 4. All right? So for G to D, it'll sound like this. 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. So definitely make sure you know how to count your 16th note rhythms. That'll help you a lot with this picking pattern. Now if we put all of our 4 chords together, it'll sound like this. E minor 7, C, G, to D. Okay, and once you can do that, we want to work on speeding it up a little until you can play it at tempo. So more at tempo, it'll sound like this. She'll set the field on fire, just cutting across the pasture. She'll have you falling for it all and leave right after. She got a cold heart, she got a warm smile, cut from the same cloth. She kinda buck wild, little bit angel, whole lot of outlaw. She's trouble, but I'll tell you right now, y'all long live Cowgirls. So there on Cowgirls, I would go into the strumming pattern that we practiced earlier in the video. Sorry about my singing. This song is simultaneously too high and too low for me. But anyways, that is the picking pattern that I would recommend playing for this song. You could actually use it for the entire song. If you listen to the original, it is kind of, you know, woven throughout, but this is the easiest way I found to play the picking pattern. All right guys, so once again, go ahead and pause the video and take as much time as you need to look this picking pattern over and really get it under your belt. If that's something that you're new to doing, it can take a lot of time to get the coordination down for your right hand and your left hand to work together and get the rhythms down. So definitely give yourself a lot of time and pause on the screen to work on it as much as you need to. But once you have it under your belt, we can put together everything we've learned in this tutorial today to play through the song. 1, 2, ready, go. She'll set the field on fire, just cutting across the pasture. She'll have you falling for it all and leave right after. And she got a cold heart, she got a warm smile, cut from the same cloth. She kinda buck wild little. Wanna have fun jamming out to the rest of the song with me? Yeah! Then make sure to check out my Patreon page. We can unlock access to this as well as all my other fast track and play along guitar tutorials. I'll make sure to leave a link for that in the description box down below. If you enjoyed learning this song with me, then you should definitely check out this video. Not only does it have a super similar vibe and feel, but it's just as fun and easy to play. So I'll see you over there. Bye!